All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 5 Rounds with Eddie and Nick, presented by CrossroadsMMA.com and Crossroads MMA Radio. I am your host, Eddie Law. With me, as always, my friend down in Texas. What up, Nick?
What's going on, Eddie?
Oh, same stuff, man. I mean, look, I was telling you before the show even started. It's been one of those days, one of the few days where I actually wished I didn't live here. It's been the weirdest freaking day in, I think, Arizona history, at least my history here. And yeah, I'm ready for it to be fucking chilled out for a while.
Yeah,
but
at least you didn't have to. At least you didn't have to swim to your car this morning to move it out of the flooding water down here in Texas.
You need to get the hell out of Texas, man. That's a problem.
I don't know what's going on. It did not rain here for a good year, and then the last couple of nights, it's been just always at night, 7 o'clock at night. It just decides to storm, and then it stormed from like 7 o'clock p.m. till about 6 a.m. this morning. Yeah.
That happened to us maybe like I think it happened to us last month here in Arizona. It didn't rain for a while, and then all of a sudden we got shit on. So
yeah.
All right. So you guys want to hear about us talk about the goddamn weather? Yeah, let's get right into some MMA news here. Actually, let's kick off with UFC Fight Night. Hunt versus Stipe went down last weekend here, not here, but in Adelaide, Australia. Overall, what do you think of the card, man?
Overall, it was a decent card. We had a couple good fights on it. Both women's fights were very entertaining, in my opinion. And then the Sam Alvey, which a lot of people like him and think that he's just getting lucky. And no, I don't even think he's getting lucky. He's a great fighter. And then on the main card, you had James Vick, the Executioner, like I said, being the underdog, came out and ended up winning. And then the co-main event was shocking, in my opinion. I thought Brad Tavares could survive, but obviously he didn't. And then the main event was the main event that we all thought it would be. It was a heavyweight fight, two people trying to take each other out, and it was good. But Mark Hunt fell to Stipe's boxing.
Here's the thing about that main event, man. And actually, let's just kick right into that. Am I muted? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
That's weird, man. Yeah, the thing about the main event, though, is the fact that it was just kind of a butt whooping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just a hammering. It wasn't really much, in my opinion, too much of a fight. If anything, it was more like just a massacre on Stipe's part. As far as that goes, as far as the fight going way too damn long, in my opinion, what'd you think of that thing?
Well, I don't think. Yeah, I can understand why the ref didn't break it up at the points he did, because it is Mark Hunt. He was defending himself. He was moving. He was blocking the punches, but it should have been stopped. It got stopped way too late, and even when the referee stopped it, Mark Hunt was defending himself. He was moving. He was taking punches, but the referee was like, you're getting beat up the whole time. It's done. But hats off to Stipe, man. He just put on a clinic on Mark Hunt. But my hats off to Mark Hunt, too. Every time he got back up, he would just swing for that right hand and try to catch him, but couldn't get the job done.
Here's the thing, my problem that I have with that. The fact that, I mean, dude, to me, definitely freaking Andrew. It was a very – I just think it went too damn long, man. After the second round, Mark Hunt had nothing left. Mm-hmm. However, and I think Aaron's the one who made the point last night, I think, excuse me, that you have a New Zealand fighter fighting I don't know how you say it, someone from New Zealand, but they're fighting from New Zealand, fighting in Australia with an Australian ref. I think that ref gave Mark Hunt as much of the benefit of the doubt as possible, thinking that because Mark Hunt got back to his feet, he'd be able to swing and knock the dude out. Did you see any pictures of Mark Hunt after the fight?
Yes, I believe I just watched an interview before the show, and his eye was all swollen shut. He looked like he got hit hard and hit by a truck. In my opinion, he did.
Yeah, he looked like a guy that was allergic to bees and got stung the hell out of his own face. It was pretty bad. And I mean, look, he did nothing in that fight. Stipe would take him down and just ground and pound. Now, what pissed me off is the fact that Stipe wouldn't try to finish him. Now, everyone's talking about Stipe, being like a contender for a title or anything like that. First of all, no. Kane and Verdum destroy him. And I don't mean they take 5 rounds to beat him. They destroy him. Either one would do it. All right? What pissed me off about Stipe, and I think would have been more impressive, what pissed me off about Stipe is that he didn't go for a finish. He was waiting for the ref to stop it every round, right? He didn't try to go for a submission, which he could have easily done. Hunt was barely defending himself, right? Yeah. He would keep taking shots. Then try to take his back, then try to take an arm. Either Stipe's jiu-jitsu skills are dog shit, or he was actually waiting for the ref to call it. And finally the ref had to call it at the end. But man, it was just like, to me, it was really a really ugly display of just incompetence from the ref and Stipe's unwillingness to try and finish it in a different way other than TKO. Maybe trying to be, trying to play that like he's impressive or anything like that. But that was just my take on that fight, man. Do you think Mark Hunt's got anything left?
No, I think it sucks. I really like Mark Hunt. He always puts on a show, even if he's getting his getting beat up the whole fight. But yeah, I think it's done for him. I think he just needs to either do one more fight, maybe one more fight against maybe a Ben Rothwell or like a Matt Mitrione, just like a passing of the torch, and then head off. Just go be with your kids, go be with your family, just hang out.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. Now, let's talk about the two ladies' fights you were talking about. They were both pretty impressive. Mm-hmm. Alex Chambers pulling off an upset win via, I believe it was via armbar. Was it armbar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, via armbar against the beautiful, incredibly attractive, couldn't stop watching her, Caitlin Curran. Curran had that fight in her pocket. That was it. Third round, maybe like a couple minutes left in the fight, and gets caught in armbar. First of all, that's MMA. That's the game they play. But how surprised were you that Chambers, looking like she had nothing for Curran in the first two and a quarter rounds, pulling off the armbar? How surprised were you on that result?
I was completely surprised. Caitlin Curran was going off, just going to town on her, and
looking damn good doing it too, mother.
But no, it was so weird because it's like you said, that's MMA for you. Anything can happen. If it's the last 6 seconds, if it's the last 30 seconds, if it will happen. And that she stayed alive. She kept going she went for the submission. She got sunk in the submission, ended up getting the armbar. And it sucks for Caitlin Curran because she was doing so much work, and that work didn't pay off. It's just, that's MMA for you. That's jiu-jitsu for you, that it can come out of nowhere.
Yeah, and again, that's the thing about MMA. That's why you love it so much. So, again, Alex Chambers pulling off an upset win against Caitlin Curran, and I don't see Curran ever getting cut. You don't cut a girl like that. There's no way. So the other fight, which to me, I know you liked it, but I was like, Beck Rawlings submits Lisa Ellis. I think it was a rear naked choke. That to me was just like, I mean, cool. I've never been impressed with Beck Rawlings. I'm not, I don't think she can compete with most of the division. Lisa Ellis has always, or basically ever since she got to, for example, in the Tough House, mm-hmm. and even in her fight on Saturday, didn't really look like a fighter that wanted it. You know what I mean? Looked like a fighter that was there for the paycheck and not really trying to win. While she did look pretty decent, I'm not going to say she looked bad at all. But Beck Rawlings finished her via a rear naked choke. Again, you said you like the girls' fights. I agree with you in the Curran Chambers fight. I don't agree with you here. What do you think of this fight?
I just liked watching the chicks fight, man. They always go in to put up on show. It doesn't matter who it is, if they're ranked, not ranked, whatever. They go in to put a show. That's why I enjoyed watching this fight. Beth Rawlings did work. She ended up getting the submission win, and I don't know. I just like watching the chick fights. I don't necessarily really like Beth Rawlings in that aspect, but I just enjoy watching the women fight.
All right. The other fight you were talking about as well, Dan Kelly losing to Mr. Smiling Sam Alvey in the first round via knockout. That is apparently something Mr. Alvey can do. Before we get to the tan shit on his chest, which was pretty funny, he got in trouble for. What do you think of Mr. Alvey? He's on his way up in the division. Is he for real? Do you think he's for real?
I think he is for real. It's just he's. It's kind of like he's an offensive and a defensive fighter. It's kind of weird because in his last couple fights, he gets rushed, he gets caught, but then he comes back and catches you and ends up dropping you. And that's been happening in the last couple fights. This fight, same thing kind of happened. But in my opinion, he should be ranked. Why is he not ranked yet? He's finished his last 3 fights by knockout in the first round. He's putting on a show. He's climbing up the ranks a lot. I think he should at least be in the top 15. I see him beating a Robert Whittaker. I see him beating a Tim Boach. I see him beating a CB Dollaway. Why is he not ranked? I really like him. I think he could be maybe we haven't seen him tested yet, a contender, but I want to see him against like a CB Dollaway. Let's see him in that middleweight division, try to climb the ranks, maybe a Talis Latest. Let's see him get a ranked fighter and get in.
Pilecki, did you freeze, man? I think Mr. Pilecki froze. Figure that out real quick. That's what you gotta love about live shows. Stuff like this can happen all the time. But anyway, let's talk about Mr. Alvey here. Alvey's an awkward striker in my opinion. So I think, are you back?
Yes, I'm back.
I think you froze for a second.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Anyway, Texas. Anyway, like I was saying a second ago, Sam Alvey's got this awkward way of striking, awkward way of fighting, in my opinion. So the guys that he's fought so far, that's worked really well against. I don't think he could beat a ranked fighter. I'd love to see it. I want to see him taking a top 15, top 10 guy. I don't think he's going to be able to beat him. I really don't. That's just – I'm not a hater. I like Sam Alvey. That dude's fun. And the fact that he's always smiling, he's always super happy, and it doesn't seem like a gimmick, BS gimmick, is great. I like happy. I like seeing happy fighters, happy people. But what'd you think of that shit he had tan on his chest that he got in trouble for?
I don't think he should have got in trouble for it. He wasn't wearing anything. It was just a tan. It was a sponsorship. It's just like it's on his shorts, and I actually think he should get in trouble for it. It's so what, he wanted to get a tan. We have what's her face? Why can't I remember her name? She just fought Paige. Why can't I remember?
Oh, Felice.
Yeah, she gets hearts spray tanned on her. Let him do it. Let him do it. Let him support his sponsors. Now, I can understand with the Reebok deal, but right now, let him do it. It's fun.
I thought for sure it was chest hair, man. I did not think I was a tan. I was like, this ginger mofo got some chest hair and stuff going on. All right, well, let's talk about one of the other fights that I enjoyed seeing. That was a pretty big upset as far as the Australians go. Jake Matthews losing via what I believe was a guillotine choke to the Texecutioner, James Vick, one of your boys. What'd you think of that fight?
I told you. I knew James Vick was going to be that underdog, the shock, to be the surprise on this card, and he was. He came out. Jake Matthews started controlling him, started landing some strikes on the feet, but then he just put on that guillotine choke and it was done.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was tight. It was, and Jake tried to like flip like a freaking fish trying to get out of it. It wasn't going to happen. Vic had that in. And to Vic's credit, before the fight, he was talking about bet on me. Bet on me, and that's the kind of confidence you got to have as a fighter. And all props to Mr. Vic for winning that fight. And last but not least, let's talk about the co-main event. Brad Tavares getting knocked out, man. He got knocked out by Robert Whittaker. I was surprised. I thought Tavares wasn't going to run over Whittaker, but I didn't think he was going to get knocked out. I thought for sure it'd be some kind of TKO stoppage in the third round. I was very surprised. I'm kind of look. He got caught. But the way he got caught was expected as hell to me. What do you think of that fight?
He got knocked out twice. That's all it was. He got knocked out the first time, ended up coming to, getting up, and getting dropped the second time. It sucks. I like Brad Tavares. He's a good fighter, but hey, that's like we were saying before. It's MMA. You get caught at any time, anywhere, and good job.
All right, man. Good job, Whittaker. You're a good man. All right, switching gears here. Let's talk about Metamora 6. We went down on Saturday earlier before. Actually, it ended maybe like halfway through the Fight Pass prelims, right? Mm-hmm. You got to see it today. Let's take your take before I lose my shit. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm not going to spoil anything that you're going to say, but I started at the Keenan Cornelius match because I heard the other matches were not so great, so I started the Keenan match and watched all the way up from there. That match was very good in my opinion, very technical. Keenan with his worm guard and everything like that. It was very, very good. And then Joe Lozon getting submitted. I kind of saw that one coming. It's his first Metamoris event. I see him coming back in the future, but he got submitted. Chael Sonnen versus Babalu. It was a draw. It was okay. It was just a very defensive fight on Babalu and Chael's part. And then the main event, it went to, I didn't understand the submission that Josh Barnett put on Huron, that it looked like a knee bar at first, but then I don't know, during the replay you see a toe hold, so it was really weird. But I liked Metamora 6. It was a good event.
Okay. No, you're done with that. I gotta be completely honest. Metamoris, here's the thing, and you know, everyone understands that Metamoris is really good, in my opinion. And I'll explain why in a second. But I think Metamoris is probably one of the best jiu-jitsu, not televised, but streamed, pay-per-view, whatever events that jiu-jitsu has. It's in fact, if you could easily call it the leading jiu-jitsu event. It should be in the forefront. It should be the one that's super popular. It is popular, not as popular as I think it should be or it could be. But here's what pissed me off about the event overall. I don't care that the media wasn't allowed in. All right, now media doesn't like that. We saw that with the whole thing with Mayweather not allowing 2 journalists into the fight, and then allowing them last second, knowing that they were both gone. But I mean, media gets really upset if they go told no. Metamorph told them no earlier, I believe, in the first couple events. They got told no on this one, and media was very upset. I will be the first one to tell you I don't give 2 squats of dog shit that if media gets in there, because it's not about the media. Okay, the media can stream it like everybody else. Well, I thought what upset me was the fact that the audience wasn't allowed in there, because it took away a lot from the event. Okay, when something cool happened, you heard the teams, the corners clapping, Boz and Boz Rutan and Jeff Glover and whoever else was there helping commentate. The fighters would actually get in there and talk, but you would hear little bits of claps. It felt like a golf tournament. It was too quiet. I'll go easily back to my favorite example was Royler Gracie against Eddie Bravo, when the crowd exploded every time it was a guard pass. When Eddie Bravo would get Royler Gracie in an electric chair, the crowd exploded. That kind of excitement comes through the screen. It's a big deal to have that kind of excitement. It's the reason that big UFC events, you'll hear Joe Rogan and Goldberg be like, it's deafening in here, we can't hear anything. It gets you more excited watching the fight. It's an incredibly important part of an event is the audience, right? So no audience, garbage. And the other thing that bothered the hell out of me before we go over the results real quick is the long ass videos in between the fights. Now I get it. Metamorph is promoting their all access pass. All right. It was cheaper to get the 3-month all access pass, by $5, than to just get the pay-per-view. So what I do, of course, me and my friends bought the all access pass for 3 months. We get to see all this other stuff. However, they basically showed it in between the fights. Those long ass videos. Did you have to go through that when you were rewatching it?
Yeah, no. When I rewatched it, I had to go through the what is it? The Keenan Cornelius seminar, all of it. It was I didn't like that.
Yeah. No, I agree. And so that really annoyed the hell out of me. It was just weird. I don't think Boz Rutan, and look, I respect the Boz. Boz is one of my favorite people on the planet. But I don't think Boz Rutan is a jiu-jitsu commentator. I get Ken Flo was at UFC. You couldn't get him. There's a lot of guys out there. You could have gotten Eddie. I bet you if Eddie Bravo, although the Gracies aren't going to do that, but I bet you if you would ask Eddie Bravo, he'd have done it. Okay. But you could have gotten anybody else to commentate and it would have been way better. There's times where Boz Rutan had no idea what was going on. And, Jeff Glover is an analyst as far as, what's going on on the actual mat, the moves, the guard passes, everything. He's an analyst and he's really, really good at that. He has zero personality on television or on the screen. Okay, I'm sure as in person, he's a great guy. He's probably a funny guy, entertaining guy. But when the camera is on him, he's kind of like, okay, he did this, he did that, and all stuff, and he's got corny jokes, whatever. But I understand they brought Boz in for a personality, and it would have worked in an MMA event. I don't think it worked in a jiu-jitsu event. I don't think we're gonna see Boz back. I think we'll get Ken Flo back. I think Ken Flo's great at it. But all right, so let's get into the results here. And actually, real quick, a tweet from our friend Andrew Reed. He says, Metamorph needs work. I like it, but they need an audience, and they need a way of avoiding draws. Agreed. As far as the draws go, and I think Edgar would agree with me on this, and I think, in fact, it might even be him that put the idea out as far as him and I talking. EBI, the Eddie Bravo Invitational, has overtimes. Not only overtimes, but overtimes that start in certain positions. You can get a spider, what is it called? Spiderweb position. Basically, you can go right into an armbar almost, or you can start on somebody's back and then go, right? You got a certain amount of, basically, in EBI and overtimes, you have to make someone tap before they get out of that position. So you start in spider web, you got to make them tap. If they're able to change that position, your overtime is done, and it's their turn to try it. And it goes over and over and over again until you're done, until basically somebody taps, right? And it's if you have seen EBI, you definitely need to. That somebody's got to have it somewhere on the internet. But I agree. Metamoris should just get off their high horse and adopt something like that, at least something like it, where we're gonna get a winner. All these draws, I mean, you know, I love jiu-jitsu. It's one of my it's one of my top things that I care a lot about. But it's just like, come on, you know, if you're gonna put this on TV, you want this on TV, you gotta make it entertaining. The Eddie Bravo Invitational, the right idea, the correct idea. And on top of that, you got the kids. You get to see the future of jiu-jitsu in the EBI. Metamoris wants to make themselves feel like the UFC, like they're the big leagues, right? And jiu-jitsu, to me, that's an ego issue, right? Mm-hmm. To me, that's an ego issue on Metamoris' part. The EBI, on the other hand, no ego. Let the kids in. And to be honest with you, I don't know if you saw the last EBI, but some of the most entertaining matches were the kids' matches, all right? There was these, I forgot the little girl's name, but this little girl looked like she was the least threatening human on the planet. She looked like a tiny little squirrel, had nothing, you know what I mean? She looked like she couldn't do anything. Her opponent comes in with a long-ass resume and shit she's done, and this little girl, relentless as hell, ended up tapping the chick with the resume. It was insane. It was awesome. I love to see stuff like that. I mean, you know what I mean? Maybe you don't have to bring in the kids, or bring in and show something, but definitely need to get rid of the draws. The draws are getting really, really old. But going over the result of Metamoris, on the undercard, Francisco Iturralde defeats Greg McIntyre via straight armbar. Then Michael Liera defeats Morgan Neidlinger, which ended, and actually didn't defeat him. He just actually ended in a draw. I forgot about that one. Then Evander Nunez against Jimmy Frederick ends in a draw. Now, here's the thing about that fight. I believe it was Jimmy Frederick that ended up winning Road to Metamoris, right? Mm-hmm. Right. So he was supposed to take on Jeff Munson. Unfortunately, and you know, it's a very, very sad situation. Jeff Munson's mom died, I believe, the night before Metamoris 6 went down. So he had to withdraw, completely understandable. And they brought in Nunez to take on Jimmy Friedrich, who, by the way, they had actually faced each other before with Jimmy winning. And I don't know about you, but I think Nunez looks like Ariel Helwani if Helwani was actually a man. You know what I'm saying? Does he not? He looked like Helwani if Helwani was an actual man.
See, I thought the same thing, and I knew you were going to have a joke for that one.
I'm telling you, I look, man, I'm just saying. I mean, don't talk squat if you've never trained. I've trained, you've trained. Okay, we could talk some shit because we know we've been through it a little bit at least. Other guys that haven't done it, call yourself a journalist if you want to. I give you little to no credit. All right. Yeah. Moving on here, Clark Gracie gets in there against Roberto Satoshi, ended in a draw. That was entertaining to me, actually, and I'm a big fan of Satoshi. Satoshi, in fact, does the Dragon Ball Z yells and shit like that. What do you think on that match?
See, I did get to see. I did go back and watch that one. That match was really cool. That was entertaining, but I don't know. I'm still learning because I'm still young in jiu-jitsu. I've still been practicing and like learning. But that's why I like it. Like going back to talking about Metamoris, that's why I like about the crowd, because when the crowd goes nuts, like, okay, that was a good position. Now I learned that's a good position, how to get there. And then they show the replay. So that's why I like the crowd in that aspect.
Yeah, definitely. And Satoshi's one of those guys that will go for flying anything. And right when I believe it was Jeff Glover talking about flying techniques, or somebody was talking about it, he went for it and he didn't get it, but he still went for it. And props to Clark Gracie. That dude's a badass dude too. All right, after that, we got to see probably what I will say is easily the most entertaining match of the night was Xander Ribeiro against Keenan Cornelius. First of all, I'm a big Keenan Cornelius fan. That guy's going to roll or fight. I'm watching it. That dude with the worm guard that looks impossible to get around. He's a lot of fun to watch. That was a fun match, but again, it's in a draw. What was your opinion on that?
See, I'm a huge, just like you, I'm a huge Keenan Cornelius fan. My buddy, actually Chris, moved out to San Diego to go train at Altos with them, and he was telling me all about him during his last Metamoris event, or the Metamoris 4, I think it was, that I was talking to him about it, and he's like, you need to watch this guy. This guy is awesome. Go back and watch all his tapes, and I love it. He's awesome. He goes that weird worm guard, like you said, that's impossible to get around. And it's really cool to see because that's like the new school jiu-jitsu in a way, like grabbing the lapel, wrapping your leg around the lapel, wrapping your leg around the belt, trying to pull him in. it was very entertaining. That's why I liked it. I like that kind of jiu-jitsu. Same like Jeff Glover with the quote unquote donkey guard that he creates. He just gives them their back and then shoots for their leg in between his leg. That stuff's insane. That's what I like about jiu-jitsu. It's you can go for anything and possibly become on top and get a submission win.
Yeah, I can't remember. Somebody tried the donkey. What do you call it? The donkey
guard.
Yeah, donkey guard. Was it Cornelius?
What, this event?
Yeah, somebody tried it. It was literally last second. I can't remember who it was now.
I think it was Keenan. Yeah, I think it was.
It might have been Keenan that tried it.
Yeah,
he was just messing around, and it was pretty funny. But so that one ends in a draw. The next one was actually a finish, and it was actually what I expected. A lot of people were like, "Oh my god, I can't believe Joe Lozon did this" or whatever. But I completely expected Dallin Dennis to handle him. Joe Lozon is an MMA fighter, great at jiu-jitsu, but Dylan is great at jiu-jitsu, right? And Dennis gets him in a Darce choke, which is not easy to defend, but it's rather easy to recognize, I think. And Lozon got caught and it couldn't get out. What do you think on that one?
See, Lozon he gave up his back way too early, and he was just stuck in that body triangle the whole time. He couldn't get out of the body triangle. But like you said, Joe Lozon's he's an MMA fighter. He's a UFC fighter. It's not his first Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu match, apparently. He has done competitions, but his first against this high level of Jiu-Jitsu. So he even expected, he's like, I expected to come in here, and if it was a draw, I would have been upset. If I didn't get a fight, if I would have won, I would have been upset, because I expected this to be the highest level competition. Now I lost, I accept it. Now I need to go back to the gym and keep doing at it. And I think we'll see Joe Lozon back, just like we saw Chael back. Like, I think we'll see him back in Metamoris and against a different opponent and see what he's learned from his experience.
Yeah, no, and I don't know. Dallin Dennis is a bad motherfucker, man. Yes, I knew about him before this event, so I knew Lozon was in for it. All right, so moving on. And again, keep in mind, in between all these bouts, they had these videos they were doing, like these. It was like Road to Metamoris videos. It was like those embedded videos, those those out of the gym videos, stuff like that. But the co-main event, Chael Sonnen draws against Babalu Sobral Renato. He first of all, I'll say this part real quick. Is it just me or did Chael Sonnen pack on a few pounds?
Oh, he looked huge. They said he weighed in at 207. No, he was way bigger than 207. There's no way. He looked at least 220.
He looked big. I mean, he had the muffin top and all that stuff, and shorts that were way too big for him. On top of it, but Sonnen looks improved. But I think he made you know what? In fact, anytime that Sonnen doesn't get tapped, it's kind of a win for Sonnen. Yeah. Especially against a guy like Babalu, who's supposed to be a jiu-jitsu freaking master, and to not get tapped is pretty impressive.
Especially in someone's guard. In Babalu's guard, where Sonnen has passive losing with triangles, losing with arm bars. He, in my opinion, he kind of won the match and for himself. Yeah.
But, and then Sonnen, of course, being Sonnen, Babalu give him all the credit in the world, by the way, after the fight, calling him a legend in the sport of MMA and all that stuff, which, okay. But,
wait, you don't agree with that?
Legend of MMA?
Yes.
Legend.
Yes. I think he...
let me put it in terms of that you'll understand
what I'm
saying.
Not like Chuck Liddell legend, Randy Couture legend.
Not even close to Chuck Liddell legend.
But...
Chael Sonnen will be one of those highlights of the history of MMA. He's not a legend. Okay, he is. Let's see. You tell me if you understand what I'm saying here. He is not Michael Jordan. Okay, but he is. Who would I say? I'll call him. Damn. I'll call him. No, I can't even do that. Okay, go ahead to the point. I gotta fix my analogy here.
Who else submits Shogun with a guillotine choke?
Good point.
Who else gives Anderson Silva one of his greatest fights of all time, beats him basically 5 rounds up to the last 36 seconds and gets caught?
Juice to the gills.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, although we don't even know if Anderson was juiced at that point. If they were both juiced, we could prove it. That'd be a fair freaking fight. But no, Chael Sonnen is not a legend of MMA. I'll say this, one of the most entertaining and one of the most memorable guys. But as Don Manos has just tweeted over, he says, Sonnen is a legend of MMA only on the mic. Completely understand. Completely agree.
Okay.
Should have gotten into pro wrestling. I'll give him that.
Well, if you do his promo at Metamoris, he even did the same quote. They don't call you the greatest grappler. They call you Chael Son and beat me if you can. That's why I was like, Chael, you better win this, because all his quotes are just perfect.
He's a great promoter, man. He's one of the best that I've seen in a long time. But and then Andrew Reed, Andrew Reed tweets over about jiu-jitsu, says jiu-jitsu should be taught in school. It's the king of martial arts. Completely agree with that as well.
Totally
completely agree with that as well. I mean, look, I have a 2-year-old nephew who's about to turn 3. As soon as he can start taking instruction, that kid's going to jiu-jitsu, because I don't know any other sport that can humble you in as many ways as jiu-jitsu has. I mean, I told a story a million times on 5 rounds before. The first day I went into a jiu-jitsu class, I got tapped by a tiny Japanese chick like 15 times. Like just rear naked chokes, arm bars, triangles. I don't know. First of all, I gotta admit, I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but I was like twice her size, and she was killing me. All right,
and you know Eddie went home. You went home and cried.
Look, man, I played varsity basketball for 4 years in high school. All right, I was hitting shots, dude. I was doing all that shit. I Muay Thai, the wrestling, all that stuff, and they go to jiu-jitsu and get tapped by a tiny chick. That humbled me quick as hell. You know what I mean? And it honestly, jiu-jitsu, that humbleness that jiu-jitsu brings you, it went into every aspect of my life. I'd be a completely different dude if I hadn't done jiu-jitsu. I'll be honest about that.
Yep.
But again, Chael Sonnen against Babalu ends in a draw. Another problem with the draws, they got to figure out how to get that, how to change that. And again, maybe go the EBI route. All right, moving on to the main event of Metamorph 6 was supposed to be Josh Barnett against Cyborg, not Chris Cyborg. What's the I can't remember his full name. You know?
I don't actually remember his full name.
That's great. Let me see if I can. Whatever, I'll work on finding it.
But in my opinion, this was a better fight.
I think it might have been, but here's the thing: it's Huron Gracie got some balls, man. The Gracie's got some nuts, dude, because he stepped up. I think it was like, what was it, 3 days notice, something like that, 6 days notice, something like that. Yeah, 3 days notice. And he took on Josh Barnett, who outweighed him by like 75 plus pounds. Catch wrestler. And here's the thing, the second that Huron ended up on his back, you knew that was over. But man, he fought out of some stuff, man. I was very impressed with Huron. Very, very impressed. What did you think on that match?
It, like you said, he just had that weight on Huron, but Huron, being the smart guy, just was a smaller guy, like I am mostly in the gym, and he just kept tucking in, trying to get his elbows in, trying to get out. But he's a catch wrestler, man. He's too heavy. He knows how to use his weight, and then he ended up getting the I'm saying a knee bar, but it was a toe hold. I think it was a toe hold, right?
Yeah, it was a toe hold.
Yeah. So he caught him with the toe hold and ended up getting the win. But you see how fast Huron tapped. He's like, nope, I already know I'm done. And that was smart on his opinion, because that guy who has that power could have broke your ankle in that second.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Okay, as far as the overall event, if you had to grade, give it like an A through D grade, what would you think?
I'll give it a C, just because no crowd and just because of those long videos. Like, I can understand showing like quick highlights of like the seminars and the out of gym stuff, like quick little highlights, and then getting into the fighters. But no, I didn't want to sit there for 20 minutes watching Keenan Cornelius try to teach how to do a heel hook out of his warm guard. No, I wasn't about that right now. I wanted to see the matches.
Yeah. All right, tweeting and doing all this shit is getting slowing me down. All right, so in my opinion, overall, this Metamorph is definitely not even close to the greatest one. I think it needs a lot of work. And Don says Roberto Abreu, Cyborg. That's right. That's a good point. Thanks, Don. Yeah. Anyway, moving on here. Let's talk Ronda Rousey. As we know, she's got a book coming out called My Fight, Your Fight. Actually, it's available already. I'm waiting for the audiobook because I work too much to read. And also, she's on the cover of Sports Illustrated, looking damn good, if I can say so myself. And Okay, first of all, we all know Ronda Rousey's killing it, right? She's doing real, real good. In the book, part of the excerpts of the book is that she says that after judo, because she only got 10 grand for winning a medal in judo, she had trouble. She ended up taking a job at a bar. She lived in a tiny little studio. Otherwise, she slept in her car. She had a lot of trouble, but she also developed a pot and Vicodin habit. First of all, when you heard that part of it, how surprised were you?
I was completely surprised coming from Ronda Rousey, but then I was not surprised after working in the service industry, being kind of like, not saying I had addiction or anything like that, but oh wait, hold on.
Oh, Don. All right, joining us now, Mr. Don Manos. How you doing, man?
Amazing, like always.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I completely slipped my mind. Everything, all the plans went out the window. I had one of those days, man.
It's all good with me.
All right, man. Real quick, before we continue with the Ronda Rousey thing, UFC Hunt versus Stipe. What do you think of the main event?
Should have been stopped in round 3. That's it.
Yep. That's what I thought as well. I thought for sure that thing was over. Hunt had nothing left, and it went way too damn long. And then a fight on that card that you were most impressed with.
Probably Vic.
Vic over Jake Matthews. That was a tight friggin' guillotine, man. And Jake tried to flip out of it, and it wasn't happening. So definitely. Did you get to catch many more? Oh, you did actually. You and I were talking on chat about it. Overall, what do you think? Because I wasn't impressed with the event. It was really weird. No audience and stuff like that. What did you think of Metamore 6?
Like y'all said, I miss the crowd the most. I mean, it's great to hear when the crowd actually understands what's happening, instead of just hearing somebody speaking Portuguese or Japanese, whatever it is, to a person. It's a lot better to hear the crowd freak out when somebody passes a guard.
Absolutely, and again, just like you said right now, and like I was saying before, and I think Nick said it too. That audience, if you don't know jiu-jitsu, the audience can give you an indicator what you might be missing. But on top of it, yeah, the excitement comes through the damn screen, man. I mean, it makes you feel like you're almost like you're part of it. It makes you feel like you want to be there, and to have nobody there, just have golf claps and shit left and right. That got irritating and boring. It really did. So, what one match of that whole Metamoris card did you like, Don?
Dylan Dennis and Joe Lozon for sure. I'm a Lozon fan, but Dennis is ridiculous.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. He's already a big name in jiu-jitsu. He's going to get bigger, especially. I think he's still a young kid. I think. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know him too well, but I had heard his name before, so that's just kind of what it is. So, all right, so we were talking about Ronda Rousey a second ago. She's got this image right now, and we'll start with Nick. She's got this image right now that she's a superstar. She's got movies. She's a champ. She's undefeated. She seems invincible. She, on top of it, she seems like she has everything put together, like she's never had any problems. This book coming out, there's part of it where she reveals that she had a pot and Vicodin issue. After judo, she only got 10 grand, and she had to take a job at a bar, sleep in a car, slept in a tiny closet-sized studio. Nick, you were talking about it surprised you a bit overall, but you were also saying about the service industry. What was your point on that?
Yeah, because like in the service industry, that stuff's all around all the time. It's working in bars and everything like that. If you think that you're on top of that pedestal, especially being Ronda Rousey's age at that time, you're on top of the world, but then you get shot down and you feel at your lowest of lows. Like everyone has their time when they feel lowest of lows, and being in the service industry, that was her point of, oh, you have that, well, can I try that? And it made her feel good. Shit happens sometimes, but it did surprise me coming from Ronda Rousey, though, the face of the MMA of UFC right now, the face of women's MMA, the pound for pound best fighter in the world. I don't care if you're a girl or guy. It's completely surprising.
Yeah, Don, did you hear about this? And if you did, what'd you think of that?
I've heard stuff about it in the past from listening to other podcasts, but it is really shocking just to think that the baddest person on the planet today is human at one point in her life. And it's kind of shocking, especially because when I was in the service industry before I got my new job, I was living in a car for a little while, so I understand the pain that she went through. So just to think that you can actually be that much closer to a person than what really people know, it's kind of shocking to think that Ronda Rousey isn't, like Sports Illustrated said, the most dominant person on the planet, basically.
And Don, I mean, if anything, it makes her more relatable, right?
Yeah. It makes me love her that much more.
Yeah, and Nick, you'd agree on that, right?
Yeah, no, like I've said in the past, like I don't think that she's the I don't personally like her attitude and everything like that, but that kind of made me gain a lot more respect for her and understand like that she's been through, and that's why she's the person that she is today. She's like, yeah, I am the best in the world. I've been through the lows, and now I am the best. I'm the best I could be, and I'm going to be the best I could be at every time I either step in the cage or I step in a room.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so since we're on that topic, actually, no, let's move to a different topic. I know Don didn't get a chance, and we talked about the Reebok deal. Don, you heard about the Reebok deal. You heard about how it's gonna get broken up, the amounts, the fights, how it looks really bad for fighters. Matt Mitrione, Cody Gibson, Brandon Schaub, how so many fighters speaking out about it. What is your take on this whole Reebok deal?
It needs to be restructured. I don't know how they can do it, but it does, because even I think his name is the Silverback, Roger Narvaez.
Mm-hmm.
He even said he made like 10 times that what he would make just off of one fight, and it kind of makes it seem like a champion isn't really getting paid what a champion should get paid. You give your dues like Chris Weidman and get in wars, and you're only getting like what, 50,000?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
sad.
It is, and this fighter's like, I mean, coming to mind, Chad Mendez going to fight for the title, or fought for the title. He's a title contender. He fought for the title. You know, I mean, you could easily say he's one of the biggest names in the UFC already, and he would only get, I think, what, 10 grand off based on how many fights he's had. Sarah McMahon has fought for the title. I think she's in the $2,500 range. Brendan Schaub said he lost 6 figures in sponsorships, and you know what? I believe it. The way that guy does it with his podcast and everything, for sure, I would completely believe it. And man, it just looks really, really bad for the fighters. And now, and I think Nick, I was talking to you about this before the show started. The managers have got together in Vegas to talk about this thing, and of course the manager's going to be upset. But let's look at how it affects them, right? A manager's job: get his fighter fights and get his fighter sponsorships. Mm-hmm. One of them is going to be taken care of already for them. And the fights, you could say a fighter could do themselves. Nick, like, it affects managers a lot. Does it bother you that it affects managers at all?
Yeah, actually, because managers help build the fighter as a whole, and if they're not going to be there because of certain reasons, because they can't get their sponsors, and like you said, they don't need them to get fights. Fighters can get their own fights. They can be fed fights by the UFC. I kind of like that they're going to be in this meeting and do this meeting and try to figure out, okay, where do we fit in this? Are we going to get paid from them too? Or are we just going to be thrown out the window because you're taking our jobs away from us and just letting us have that one Reebok sponsor and one other sponsor in the cage, which is also provided by the UFC? So.
Yeah, overall. Here's the thing. I've met quite a few managers. If I had to put a number, let's say I met 10. 2 are good people. Mm-hmm. The rest, I'll be honest with you, it might be the nature of the job or the nature of themselves, or they kind of suck. So I'm not feeling too bad for the managers, to be honest with you. Obviously, the focus is on the fighters. So, overall, and to end this topic, I guess I'll go to Don first. Don, this Reebok deal, it cuts every other sponsor out. Those sponsors inevitably will go to other promotions. Possibly, Bellator, where so he's fighting. I don't think Invicta is part of the Reebok deal, so I highly doubt. So I think that they might even go there. Do you think the UFC actually loses? I mean, look, they already lost a new prospect, Ed Ruth, right, the wrestler, going to Bellator, cited the sponsorship issue as the reason to go to Bellator. Do you think that the UFC will lose more prospects and possibly, fighters that have been in the UFC for a while to Bellator World Series of Fighting?
Very possible. I mean, if you look at Demetrius Johnson last fight, for example, he didn't have his Xbox like normal, and it threw me off. I had to figure out what exactly happened with that. So it's possible that people losing their money, they might see Scott Coker's product, which is actually really good right now. It's coming on the up and up more than what I thought it would. Somebody might jump on that banner, kind of like Phil Davis, and take the money.
Yeah, and I can see it too as well. And the fact that they're not pay-per-view and they're free, and you can literally just flip a channel and get right on it, and not have to spend $50, $60 to watch a possibly boring card on pay-per-view. At least for now. Obviously, if they get a bunch of big name fighters, they're gonna go pay-per-view. It's just how the business works. They want to make money. But But yeah, I mean, Phil Davis is an excellent example. Sure, you know, he says he offered the UFC a chance to sign him, and they declined. And he went off. But I mean, he ended up on the better. He's gonna fight easier fights, gonna get paid more money, and get sponsorship. So, Nick, do you think we lose? The UFC loses fighters over this?
Yeah, I think they do. Like we all been saying, they lost Phil Davis. They already lost that top wrestler. They're gonna lose some fighters off it. They're gonna lose those smaller fighters because of the Reebok deal. At least the UFC should at least let them keep their banners. Like, okay, maybe not on their person, but if they have their banners with their other sponsors on it, okay, that gives them a couple more thousands of dollars just to throw them up there. So at least keep the banners, but I know that's probably not gonna happen.
Yeah, and actually we got a couple tweets here. Andrew retweeting over. I wouldn't be surprised if Reebok pulled out. That's a good point. Oh, we lost Don for a second. I'm sure he'll be back. Yeah. Andrew saying that he wouldn't be surprised if Reebok pulled out. I believe Reebok. I forgot who was making this point yesterday. Reebok is owned by, I think, Adidas, and they're actually losing money over it. So. You know, it's very possible Reebok might pull out of the deal if they have that clause in there, right?
Yeah.
It's very. I mean, look, if you're going to sign a contract that big with a league, you know, and you're losing money, you might put a clause in that contract to get out of it. What do you think on that part?
Yeah, I agree with Andrew. Like they already lost one of their top draws, John Jones. They're losing money right there. Who says that other fighters aren't going to come out and have the same thing happen to them, and that other fighters are just going to leave? I think I give Reebok a year before they change their plans and their payout.
Yeah, you think? I mean, obviously, it seems like the UFC will be the biggest loser out of all them.
Yeah,
I mean, which fighters right now?
Have we seen any concept of what the uniform is going to look like yet? Because it's around the corner. It's next month, and we haven't seen nothing at all.
I'm sure we'll get a pointless press conference about it pretty damn soon. Yeah. I don't see them not, you know, announcing it, not letting on. At that point, they'll let the media in on that for sure. But, you know, yeah, I haven't seen anything on that.
Personally, I want to know. I want to see I want to see what's going to look like. What is the product that I'm going to end up buying because my favorite fighter has a cool Reebok t-shirt?
Personally, I'm not going to buy any of that stuff at all.
Don't lie. You're going to buy the Don't Be Scared Homie Reebok shirt. Don't lie.
I'll tell you what, the Diaz brothers ain't going to let themselves get punked like that, all right? Stockton 209, homie. You better come correct. Although, yeah, I don't know. Real quick, before we get into UFC Manila, Faber versus Frankie Edgar. Your Faber versus Frankie Edgar. Khabib Nurmagomedov is out with another injury. Obviously, we know this. He's still talking shit, saying he wants to fight, that he could fight Anthony Pettis, or he wants to fight Anthony Pettis and Nate Diaz on the same night. Okay, on a scale from 1 to 10, how delusional / crazy / what the hell is Nurmagomedov to you?
He's the craziest person in the UFC right now. I don't know. First of all, you need to focus on staying healthy. That's all you need to worry about. Don't worry about who you're fighting. Don't worry about a title shot. Worry about yourself getting back in that cage and then start talking. Look at Conor. Conor's been talking, but he hasn't been out with the injury. And look at him. He has a title shot now. Don't talk until you're healthy and until you come back in the cage and prove who you are.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that as well. But, I mean, I was making fun of Kirby because Kirby's a big, what are we calling him? A dick rider?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Look, man, you can't be talking that kind of crap and then get injured. First of all, Pettis gets injured. Khabib talks crap. Pettis comes back, gets beat by RDA. Khabib gets hurt. Pettis talks crap. Pettis gets hurt. Khabib talks crap. Pretty much everyone's broken. Just shut the fuck up, everybody. Everyone shut up. Leave the talking to Stunning, the Diaz brothers, and that's it. Okay? Leave the people that actually know how to do it. Khabib, look at me. Let's be honest. Khabib isn't much for a crap talker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think Fred is like the pro wrestling fan of MMA. He'll jump on any.
Oh, dude.
I'm just going to say that right now. He's like the Ariel Helwani of MMA.
Oh, no.
MMA Marks, that is Fred Kirby.
Time out. Ariel Helwani is the Ariel Helwani MMA. But if Fred hears you said, I'm not going to tell him. All right, I'm going to let him find out.
I want to see what he says.
But if he sees it, he for sure is calling you out on keyboard. Like he will make you show up to keyboard. He's gonna tear you a new one.
I'm setting.
On the other hand,
right now.
Yeah, you just threw the fucking gauntlet, my friend. But on the other hand, me and Aaron would just sit back and laugh because this shit's funny as hell. So, God, dude, I can't believe you went that.
But you got to think about it. He's on Connor. He's on Habib. He's on Pettis. He's on like the hype train. Like me, yes, hype train Anderson Silva. That's about it. Fuck Chris Weidman, all these other people. I like the lower name people. Just jump off the hype train.
Oh man, I can't believe you went there. I mean, I can, but I can't. I don't know. Usually it's me and Aaron and me and even Andrew. Andrew's gotten in on it. Andrew Reed's gotten Fred, giving Fred some crap, and it's.
Well,
it's
I'm always a nice guy. I got to come out sometimes, you know.
You got to bring all that shit out during keyboards, man, because you are a bit too nice on keyboard, but if you bring this kind of attitude out on there, man, it's gonna be it can get crazier than it normally does. But all right, real quick, let's move on to UFC Fight Night Manila. Edgar versus Faber. Kicking off the preliminary card is I'm not gonna lie to you, a bunch of names I don't recognize. And the same thing on FS1, except for one name and I know I sound like a horrible fan right now, but honestly, it just really does not look like that great of a card. But Diego Lima's fighting this card against Li Yangliang. And then let's just get right to the main card, man. The three more interesting fights, actually four. Hyung-Yu Lim taking on Neil Magny. Neil Magny, I find entertaining. A lot of people don't like him. What do you think on that fight?
I like Neil Magny. He is an entertaining fighter, in my opinion, in your opinion, apparently. He's entertaining. He comes to fight, and he always puts on a show, win or lose. So I'm kind of excited. And then this Lim guy, the ace, I actually never seen him fight. I think he was on the Tough China, I believe. But I'm kind of excited to see what this fight brings.
Yeah, and look, Neil Magny is a bad dude, but like I think he's had a little bit of a hiccup. No, actually, no, he has a pretty long win streak, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he should be doing. He should do all right. But then he start giving him some real opponents that are going to help him bring him up the rankings, soon. All right, moving on there. Mark Munoz against Luke Bernat. It's Mark Munoz's retirement fight. He's announced it as so. Here's my opinion on this. A lot of people use the term "one foot out the door," right? When they talk about athletes. This dude has one arm, two legs, and he's holding on for dear life with the left, holding on to the door as much as he can. I could see him maybe not quitting, but I could see him. If he gets in a bad position, man, I could see him not trying too hard to win. What's your opinion on, first of all, retirement, announcing that's your retirement fight, and two, this fight in itself?
I don't see him coming back. Actually, I think this is going to be his fight, win or lose. Honestly, I want to see how he's going to be on weigh-in day. I want to see if he's going to be jacked like he was last time and fail another drug test. Well, quote unquote, fail another drug test. So, I think he is done after this fight. If he loses Luke Barnett, there's no other person in the UFC that he can face that he'll beat, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, he's announced that he's going to retire, so he's for sure done. So it's over. But I'm talking about, like, if he gets in a bad spot, let's say Luke Bernat hurts him in the first round. I don't think he's going to have much in him to be like, hey, I got to come back and win, even if it's in Manila. I think part of it might be like, it's over anyway. Fuck it, screw it, I'm done. That's just my opinion on that. All right, moving on to the next fight, which is the co-main event, which should be a good fight. All right, should be a good fight. Costas Philippou taking on Gegard Mousasi. Two big guys. Both actually, I like Gegard Mousasi a lot. Costas Philippou, okay, that's great. He's cool, he's whatever, but I'm not a big fan of his. What are you thinking on this fight?
I think Gegard is going to take the win on this one. I think he's just the more dominant fighter in my opinion for this fight. He has the more experience, and I actually think he's going to win either by submission or a decision.
What do you think? Who?
Gegard is going to win by a submission or a decision.
I think Gegard wins by TKO.
Really?
He's a dude. I don't know. I don't think he's gonna go decision. I think he's gonna go. This will be a finish. I think it'll be a good fight. I just don't think it's gonna be a long one. And then of course the main event. a fight I think everyone wants to see, but I think a fight that everyone's thinking too fond of. Uriah Faber taking on Frankie Edgar. Uriah Faber normally a 135er, and Frankie Edgar starting off at 155, winning the title, defending it a couple times, moving down to 145, and still looking great as far as physically goes at the division. He doesn't have to cut that much weight. This fight's happening, I think, at 145 pounds, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, do you think it's going to be a competitive fight?
Yes. Honestly, I really do. Both fighters in their MMA careers have shown that they're determined to win. They will fight their heart out and have the cardio for days. So honestly, I'm really excited for this fight. Once this fight was announced, I was completely shocked that we would even get this fight. In my opinion, it's kind of like a super fight in a way. You have Frankie Edgar, who was champion. You have Uriah Faber, who should have at least won the UFC title at least once. How many times he's fought for the title, and was WEC champion. And I'm excited for this fight, and I actually think it's going to be a war. I don't think it's going to be the great straight ground game like Frankie Edgar likes it to be. I think it's going to be like the Gray Maynard Frankie kind of fight. It's going to be that type of fight. And I really, honestly, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Uriah Faber is going to take it. And I'm going to say Uriah Faber is going to submit Frankie Edgar in the third round right now.
Okay. So first of all, you got real specific, but
no,
you're also what?
Let me be go ahead. Just go.
No, go ahead. You're specific. What's your point?
No, I really do think. I think Uriah Faber is just going to pressure him a little bit more. He's going to be more pressured on the feet more than Frankie Edgar, and then he's going to end up getting a submission.
Look, man, I'll tell you why you're wrong. It's Frankie Edgar, okay? Frankie Edgar is a bad movo, all right?
I know.
He was destroying dudes at 155 when he was undersized, okay? Now, who do you think is a better grappler, Uriah Faber or Frankie Edgar?
Grappler?
Yeah.
Faber. Wrestler? Edgar.
Okay, you're wrong. Frankie Edgar's a better grappler.
No.
Yes, he is.
Frankie Edgar's a better wrestler, in my opinion. No. Nope.
How many jiu-jitsu guys have we seen? No. How many jiu-jitsu guys have we seen? Well, get up. How many jiu-jitsu guys have we seen get stomped by Frankie Edgar? Plenty.
Yes, we have it. We have. But I think Faber's the better grappler, in my opinion. Wrestler, yes. Frankie Edgar will take him down and hold him down. But submission-wise, it's going Faber. In my opinion, it's going Faber.
Okay, who's the better striker?
Edgar.
Goddamn right. Look, Uriah Faber is not. He's a great fighter. I'm not taking anything away from him. I don't think it's gonna be a competitive fight. I think Frankie Edgar is gonna BJ Penn Uriah Faber, and not because Uriah Faber is going to, try to stand with Frankie, because he's not. But I think this fight's gonna end up on the ground, and Frankie Edgar's gonna grind Uriah into the ground. Now, again, yeah, Faber is a wrestler, I believe, by nature, but Frankie Edgar's a way better wrestler, okay? And he's not going to get caught triangles or armbars. He's not going to get caught by any jiu-jitsu move that Faber could think of. So I think Frankie's going to grind him out. He won't finish him. It's really, really hard to finish Uriah Faber, unless you're a terrible referee who doesn't see Faber throw up the thumbs up during a fight. But I think Frankie Edgar's a much better wrestler and a much better ground guy. Maybe not as far as jiu-jitsu goes, but I will say that he'll take him down to the ground and he's gonna, ground and pound him, and just get the decision win and fight, in 5 rounds. It's gonna happen, dude. It's going to happen. Accept it, my friend. Accept it like taxes. Accept it like an audit in taxes. Accept it like you're gonna have to accept the fact that Justin Bieber will one day OD on some shit and be on the news at some point.
Wait, that didn't happen? I thought that happened.
No, dude, that was a freaking rumor. I'm not gonna say I was happy about someone's misfortune, but I was kind of like, I fucking said that shit was gonna happen. I knew it was gonna happen. So
let's look it up. Hold on, I'm looking up the odds right now.
The odds on Bieber OD? 100%.
No, the odds on the fight. Okay, Frankie Edgar, Uriah Faber Edgar's a -450, Faber's a +360. So you gotta.
What exactly?
I really do think Faber can pull off the win here.
It'll be a big upset if Faber pulls off a win. I'll tell you that. It's a huge upset if Faber pulls off the win. Okay.
Okay. Experience-wise, I think Faber's going to take it. If you look at their stats right now, their landed per minute, their accuracy, everything, it's dead even almost. It's almost dead even. But I'm saying Faber's going to take this one. I think he can take it. I think he can finish if he does not finish a win by decision. Unless Edgar holds him against the cage and just holds his ass there and doesn't do anything. If he GSPs it. If he straight up GSPs it and just holds him there and that's how he wins, no, Faber will win. Faber's going to win. I'm saying it now.
I don't know, man.
We'll be talking about this next Wednesday when Faber wins.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it, but you ain't gonna be happy. I'll tell you that. Okay, and I'll send you a big. I'll let you know as soon as Bieber ODs. It's more likely that Bieber ODs next week than Faber wins. I'll give you that. Like specifically next week, that Justin Bieber ODs on some shit is more likely that by Wednesday he's gone than Faber winning this fight. All right, I'll give you that. I'll tell you that as a statistic, my friend. Or whatever you want to call it, as an odd. All right.
Wait,
what did we say? What?
So Andrew Reed saying Faber will get battered. I do not think so.
Andrew's on point. He knows. It's just over already.
Let's see. Who Edgar's last fight was. I was there. It was against what the fuck is his name? Cub Swanson.
And what did he do to Swanson?
What did he do to Swanson? He kept. But who is Swanson? Swanson's not. We even said it on the show. He's that overrated fighter. It's Cub Swanson. He held him down.
Cubs wasn't Cubs Swanson against Uriah Faber. Let's pretend we do. Let's do some stupid MMA math.
Okay.
Cubs Swanson against Uriah Faber. Who wins?
Faber.
Get the fuck out of here with that.
Really?
Are you kidding me?
Really? You think? Oh god. No.
We're
Faber
talking
wins
about a
against Cub Swanson.
145er against a midget.
That doesn't matter. What? Oh, you're saying size matters. Is that what you're trying to say? You're saying size matters?
I'm not saying size matters. Okay, look, I want to see. I'll take it back. I want to think if Swanson will destroy him, but I think Swanson has a chance against Faber.
You don't think the skill and the how long Faber has been in the top, basically, of his division that he can pull off the win?
I'll tell you this. Okay, skipping away from Swanson for a second. Swanson against Frankie Edgar. How many times have we seen Faber or Frankie falter in big fights? 0 times. Even the fight that he lost, he came in hard. How many times?
Fights?
Yeah, Frankie Edgar has always stepped up in big fights.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, I'll give you.
Yeah, Uriah Faber. Anytime that there's anything with the word title or title shot or title anything in it, just sinks. Right?
Look, if it goes to decision, Faber's winning because Ben Henderson. There you go.
Okay, explain that shit.
Okay, look at the Ben Henderson fights against Frankie Edgar. Who honestly do you think won that fight? Ben Henderson or Frankie Edgar? Think about it.
I thought Frankie Edgar won that fight.
Really?
Hell yeah.
Why?
What did Benson do?
He was way more active in the fight. First of all, just Frankie Edgar just shooting for takedowns. Yes, Ben Henderson sprawled most of them, but ended up landing more punches and landing more kicks and ended up beating. I honestly think Ben Henderson did win both those fights. Now, the Aldo fight, in my opinion, did we see Frankie Edgar falter?
Aldo fight. He got hurt a little bit.
And when he gets hurt, what happens?
What? He keeps going. I think
he slows down. Half the time he slows down, except for the Gray Maynard fight, because that was Frankie Edgar at his top. Right now, if you hurt Frankie Edgar and catch him with a good punch, he slows down.
No, it's not gonna happen. First of all, he's not gonna let Faber hit him like that. It's just not gonna happen. All right, so just accept it, my friend.
We'll see.
All right. Besides Faber, out of those first 3 fights, we're talking Gegard, Philippou, who's the co-main? Munoz, Barnett. Out of those 4, besides Faber, who are you expecting a big night from?
Mousasi. That's it. Munoz, I don't think he'll have a big night. I think it'll be, if he wins, it's going to be a decision win against Luke Barnett. If Luke Barnett wins, it's also going to be probably a decision win. I think they're going to play it safe in that aspect. But I think Mousasi is going to show that he wants a title shot.
I'd agree with that. I expect Mousasi to definitely have a big night. All right, we're gonna do a top 5. What we're gonna do?
I don't remember.
That's great. That's
top perfect. 5 Frankie Edgar fights.
No. I just say
it was top 5 champions.
Top 5 champions. 5, ladies and gentlemen. So if you don't agree, well, we're sorry. All right. You want to go first or should I?
You go first this time.
All right. My number 5 champ of all time. Man, that's a hard one to pick. I'm going to go with BJ Penn.
Mm-hmm.
Was he 2 division champ?
Yep.
Can't go wrong with BJ Penn, one of the baddest dudes on the planet. Could jump out of I think it was like a 5-foot deep pool or 6-foot deep pool all the way to the top. Although he didn't train conditioning and strength and conditioning too much, as far as I know. He hated training, but he was very good. And my boy Nick Diaz beat his ass still though. So I'm gonna go BJ Penn number 5. Who you got number 5?
All right, number 5. I'm gonna go Captain America, Randy Couture, 2 division champion like BJ Penn. He was one of the champions that when I started getting into mixed martial arts, I started watching it. I really respect in that aspect. So got to go with Randy Couture.
Randy Couture. I'm not going to say what I think about Randy Couture.
Wait, go ahead.
I'll say what I think of Randy Couture. You don't think that maybe, just maybe, and I might be getting put on the cross for this one.
Oh, no.
You don't think that maybe Randy Couture was a little overrated as fuck?
No.
Really?
Well, I think about it. Now you say it. Yeah. Who else drops Tim Sylvia like that and dominates him the whole fight?
Anybody with actual skill.
Back then when Tim Sylvia was the
shit. If you put Tim Sylvia and Randy Couture in the heavyweight division or light heavyweight division these days, although Tim Sylvia would be like ultra heavyweight these days. Mm-hmm. You put him in the heavyweight division or light heavyweight division these days, they both get dominated. I think Couture would have way better chance than Sylvia, but I don't think they become, names in.
Look, that was the David and Goliath fight of the UFC back then.
All right, whatever.
Whatever. Go ahead. Go. Number 4.
Number 4, man. I have a hard time picking this one. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go GSP. Number 4 is GSP. Should be higher, isn't, because Wolf take his bitch. But GSP was very good at grinding people, taking them, grinding them down and everything. But I mean, after he lost to Matt Serra, he came back like an animal and just dominated anyone that came his way. Just dominated. Dominated on the ground, mind you. It was a takedown, hump fest, and all that. But still, they weren't able to get him off them, which to me is part of the game. It's a boring part of the game, but it's part of the game. He dominated up until Nick Diaz and Johnny Hendricks. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Against Johnny Hendricks, a lot of people thought Johnny Hendricks won that fight. I was one of them. But in fact, GSP was one of them. You saw during the when the camera was on them before the decision was announced, GSP was treating it like he lost. Mm-hmm. And I agreed with that. And when he didn't lose, it was kind of like, whoa, So, so number 4, GSP. What do you got next?
It's a hard one. I'm kind of torn between a couple people, but for number 4, I think it's going to be BJ Penn for me. Another, like you said, 2 division champion. He was the little guy in the fight that shouldn't win the fight, but he won the fight anyway and didn't dominance. So I'm going to go BJ Penn.
All right, and we have first time we mentioned him on the show. We have a tweet though from Max Reed, one of Andrew Reed's boys, the Andrew Reed's boy, saying as far as GSP, he goes only number 4, blasphemy. See, I told you I was gonna get some shit.
He's not. I'm just letting you know right now. He's not even on my list.
Whoa, yeah. Hey, you know what, Max? Fuck Nick. Just say that. Okay, Nick don't even have him on the list. Anyway, all right, moving on here. Number 3?
Yep.
Okay, number 3 for me. This is a rough one. Fedor Emelianenko's number 3, and that's low for him. He should be higher. But look, man, we just know Fedor from Pride. He was a killer in Pride, but when he got to Strikeforce, losing to Verdum, and I think he also lost to Bigfoot, if I'm not mistaken. Joe Rogan said, hey, maybe he was on some Mexican supplements. Who knows? He said maybe. He said there's a possibility, and people they try to crucify Joe Rogan for it, but it's possible, right? A lot of the times those fighters that come from Japan and go east to west, they're saying, oh, the change of climate and all that shit, or the time change and all that. Okay, no, it was still a fight, but he man, anyone they put in front of him, he massacred. When he beat Nogueira for the title, man, did you feel bad for Nogueira? Because I've never seen the thing about Fedor. I've never seen that much power from the position he was in. He was on top of somebody ground and pounding him. He would throw as hard as he did on the ground. I mean, as hard as he did standing, he threw just as hard on the ground, if not harder. It was crazy. But Fedor's number 3 for me. Who you got?
Number 3 for me is going to be Vanderlei Silva. Back in the day, he was Pride. You can say he was on those Mexican supplements too, but in Pride, he was the longest reigning champion. He dominated whoever came in his way. And back then, he was that scary dude that even if he was on so-and-so, allegedly, he was the scariest guy on the planet. When he was in the ring, he looked like he was going to rip your head off, and that's exactly what he did. So I'm going to go Vanderlei Silva.
Vanderlei Silva? Okay. I mean, that makes sense, yeah. All right, number 2 for me, and I think 2 and 1 are going to be rough for me.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is obvious, and the other one is
so Nick Diaz.
Nick Diaz is number 1. Yes. No. Number 2. I'll go number 2. Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo. The only featherweight champion the UFC's ever known. This guy is mean, okay? Speaking of a Faber, you've seen that happen. We leg kicked the shit out of Faber, and Faber had to go home on crutches, okay? And all the pictures afterwards. So I'm going to say Jose Aldo, though he doesn't get enough credit these days because he's so, good. But, I mean, we'll find out against Conor McGregor if he's got anything left. He has said that he has an announcement after the fight. I'm assuming it's he's moving up to 155. But that's just my assumption. But, yeah, I'm going to go with Jose Aldo number 2.
Finally, something we can agree on today. Jose Aldo is my number 2 as well. Just like you said, the leg kicks to Uriah Faber, the first fight against Chad Mendes, the second fight against Chad Mendes. I still have that poster on my wall because I just really liked that fight. It was very entertaining in my opinion. So Jose Aldo, number 2. And yes, Andrew Reid said that Fedor is not number 1 on yours. It's just no.
Yeah, Andrew Reid says Fedor not number 1. Fuck you. I pissed off the Reid boys. All right. And my number 1 is quite obvious, and we might even actually match this one as well. Anderson Silva.
Yeah.
Anderson Silva, a bad motherfucker. Look, like I said before, Fedor should be higher. Okay, but I'm going off of the competition they took on. You know what? Maybe I'm more judging what Pride was against UFC as far as what they allowed. Because look, if you look at those contracts, who's it? Enson Inoue actually provided one of those contracts, and it said that they don't test for anything but like recreational drugs. So, roids were available. So hey, look, say whatever you want to say about that, take it as you will. But if I'm back in the day in Pride and I'm fighting, and I know for sure other fighters are using, I might do it too just to survive and make some money. So, but number 1, Anderson Silva. I mean, what is there? Who did he not make look silly other than Chris Weidman and Nick Diaz lately? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone else he made look silly. No one challenged him. Nobody challenged him until Chris Weidman came around. It was almost too easy for Anderson Silva. You know what I mean? I'll give you this. It wasn't, for example, remember the DC John Jones fight? Okay.
Yeah.
That fight had a ton of hype because there was a chance DC could beat him. Kat Zingano against Ronda Rousey. A lot of hype. Bars were crowded. Pay-per-view buys like no other. Why? There was a chance we could see the greatest female fighter ever fall down to Kat Zingano. But with Anderson Silva, you only got that with Chael Sonnen because he talked. Mm-hmm. And you didn't get that until the second Chris Weidman fight. Why? Because you expect Anderson Silva to dominate. You expect Anderson Silva to figure them out. You expect Anderson Silva to make his opponent look silly as shit. And he did until he faced Chris Weidman. And obviously Chris Weidman beat him twice. The second time, okay, you can say whatever you want about the leg break. But first time you try to make Chris Weidman look silly, make it look foolish, it didn't work out. And then when he fought Nick Diaz, he didn't look as impressive as he normally does because everyone thought he should have for sure finished Nick Diaz. In fact, I said it too. Although I did say I picked Nick Diaz anyways because he's my boy. But I did think that fight, if that fight was supposed to go Anderson Silva's way, it was going to be a finish by Anderson Silva. It didn't happen. And if anything, Nick Diaz punked him by doing all the shit he did. And at the end, of course, he shook his hand. He's a legend and all that. But the whole laying down and putting his hand on his head and all that shit was pretty hilarious. But Anderson Silva was my number 1 champion.
Yes, and you already know we're matching on that one. He like you said, he was that guy that made everyone look silly. The one fight that I thought was going to be one of his most toughest fights was the Forrest Griffin fight back in the day. because he moved up to 205, and I was like, Forrest Griffin takes punches. He's a punching bag. He's not going to fall. And the way he did he basically pawed him against the face, going backwards, and knocked him out. It was just ridiculous. And then, like you said, the first Chael Sonnen fight had me sweating crazy. I was at my buddy's house, and they were all picking on me because they knew I was an Anderson Silva fan. He's gonna lose. I'm sitting on the couch almost about to like lose my shit, and then he wins by submission. And then behind me, actually, I had the Chael Sonnen Anderson Silva 2 poster, which was the fight that I could not wait to see. And what happened with that? He's the most dominant champion in the UFC history. Arguably, you can say John Jones is, but not anymore. But yeah.
All right.
Just self-exam. Yep. Go for it.
I mean, obviously, yeah. But I was actually going to go with John Jones for one of them, but I mean, I was going to.
See,
but what? Go ahead.
I was going to do the same thing. I was going to actually have John Jones and actually Ronda Rousey on there, but I haven't.
About all time is the thing.
Yeah, we're talking all time, and I haven't seen Ronda Rousey be tested yet. We need to see her be actually tested to see if she's that dominant. She's been getting fed. I actually want to see her tested, and I think this next fight against Betch could be one of the tests.
You think Betch Correia test her?
I think she could catch her with like at least rock Ronda, because we've never seen Ronda rocked. I think Betch isn't going to do what Kat Zingano did and just rush her, which we thought was going to be the magic tool to beat Ronda Rousey. I think Betch is going to stay calm, stay focused, but she's still going to get dominated.
I just want to see it, man. I think Betch is going to get run over, just like I think he should. Just like I think Ronda Rousey will run Cyborg over. I think she would do that too. But
we're never going to see that fight.
We're never going to see that fight, so it doesn't matter. And that's just going to be that's just my opinion on that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for 5 rounds with Eddie and Nick. Just letting everyone know, there is actually a conference call going on right now for UFC 187 between Daniel Cormier and Anthony Rumble Johnson. You can find that at youtube.com/ whatever that thing is, UFC or Ultimate Fighting Championship. Let me actually get you the actual address. Actually, no, just go to youtube.com, search UFC, and then go to their account, and then just I think either live videos or it might even be the first one that pops up on there. They are having a conference call with DC and Rumble. So if you want to listen to that, hop on over to that. What's up?
Yeah, and actually Rumble Johnson just said this quote, which I'm just staying on Twitter. People are not showing us the respect me and DC deserve. We're the top of the food chain, because apparently everyone's still on the John Jones hype that these aren't the real champions, everything like that. These are going to be the real champions, guaranteed, and we're going to get a good show out of this fight. So.
Yeah, although I still want to see the winner take on John Jones later on, but obviously everyone's going to be like, oh, the real champion's John Jones, and I'm sure John Jones will even say that himself once he comes back, if he comes back, which you never know. So, all right, that's going to do it for 5 rounds with Eddie and Nick, presented by CrossroadsMMA.com. You can follow the page at CrossroadsMMA. Also follow Don. Yeah, follow Don, who ended up having a computer issues, and he'll join us hopefully in the next show. But he is at CBMMA_Don. Nick, you are at Nick X Micro. And I am at Elaw31. You can also follow Keyboard Warriors. The show Keyboard Warriors is its own Twitter now. How about that? At Keyboard MMA. You want to laugh your ass off with some stupid shit that we're saying, go over to that. And you can and the link is available there to last night's episode of Keyboard Warriors. Go to crossroadsmma.com for your stuff. Hop over to that conference call, laugh at some DC and Anthony Rumble Johnson quotes, and we'll see you guys next week. See ya.
Later.